What's going on, guys? So in this video, I've actually got 12 specific fragrances broken down into 3 categories for the fall season because I really feel like there's 4 bases to cover when it comes to your fragrance wardrobe. Something casual, something everyday business, something evening appropriate, and something that's kind of got a bit of a standout, show-stopping wow factor to it. Maybe not the most daring, but something that kind of doesn't smell the same as everything else, something kind of out of the norm. So I felt like I would bring you one from each price bracket. We have all 4 categories, and then in each category we have cheap, designer, and niche. So I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as I can while still getting all the points across, so stay tuned. Starting with casual. So this is going to be something that you can just wear for whatever, whether it's a day off, running errands, just going have lunch somewhere, doing something casually with your friends in the evening, maybe going to Topgolf, something like that. I feel like as far as a cheap one, it'd be great to go with Burberry Touch. I've recently been discussing this one, kind of rehashing and rekindling my love for this fragrance. Beautiful citrus, orange, violet leaf fragrance, a little bit metallic. It's a little powdery and woody. It's nothing super complex and deep, but it's very easygoing, very versatile. You can dress this one up if you feel the need to wear this with a suit even. But it's definitely a really good casual fragrance in the fall seasons because it can be a little much for the high heat, but in the milder temperatures in the 60s to low 80s range, it actually will do really well. This is one that I think can suit a lot of people in the price bracket, sub $40 for all bottle sizes. If you're looking at a 30 ml like this, it's around 20 bucks. 50 mLs are around 30 and so on. So very affordable, decent performer, very easy to like, super casual. My cheap pick is Burberry Touch. Now, as far as my designer pick, this is the ones that kind of fall right outside of my cheapy price point. This one kind of borders it, but as far as designers, I think Dolce & Gabbana K Eau de Parfum is a fantastic choice here. Here you have a little bit of juniper, a little bit of geranium. There's some citruses up top. This is very dominant in the juniper. It's actually not just a little bit of juniper. It's kind of dominant in it. Has a little bit of a screechy synthetic opening, but that calms down pretty quickly. This is a bit more rich and fruity sweet. There's a dense woody nature to this fragrance. It's still relatively casual overall. It just suits the cooler weather a lot better than something for maybe the spring and summer, which I would say the Eau de Toilette version of this fragrance would be better for. It's much more fresh. You have a little bit of a powdery tone here, but here it does have more of a thickness to the scent profile, but nothing serious. That's why I deem this to be a very good casual fragrance for the fall season. This is another one, same situations where you're just running around, day off, lounging around, doing relaxing type of things, a very casual type of setting. Fragrances like this will do the trick. Performance is actually above average on this one as well. You can expect some decent longevity and pretty solid projection. So my designer pick, the casual category, Dolce & Gabbana K EDP. Then we have our niche casual fragrance. This was a very easy choice for me to go with. It's Raja Parfums Elysium Parfum Cologne. Very, very difficult to not like this fragrance. It can do just about everything. This one can be your one signature scent. It definitely pulls in compliments. It's citrus fruit, metallic, very fresh, a little fresh green herbal, light woods in the backdrop. I mean, there's a pretty good complexity to this, but overall it's citrus, fruity, sweet, and metallic. Very, very fresh. It's a magnetic and charismatic type of fragrance. It will really draw people in. This is on the higher price side of what most people would be looking for casually, but this is very well known for a good reason. It smells incredible. Like I said, it's known to pull in positive attention from the opposite sex, and this is one that's great casually. This is a great t-shirt fragrance if you have the money to spend and you like some of the more expensive fragrances out there to kind of separate yourself from everyday guys that are just grabbing designer fragrances. Something like this, while not super deep, challenging, and crazy complex, it does have a few phases to the fragrance. It does smell of quality, and it just flat out smells incredible to me personally. This is a very high-rated fragrance for a reason. Great casually, especially if you're looking for something on the upper-end price bracket that smells of money. Something like this will do the trick in a casual setting. Roger Parfum's Elysium Parfum Cologne. Next, we have everyday/business. So this is going to be your work fragrances. This is going to be your signature scent type of stuff where, let's say you have quite the busy day where you're a gym goer early in the mornings, then you have your business throughout the day. In the evenings, you may have something to unwind, maybe stopping somewhere to have a drink, going meet up with your wife for dinner, and so on. This is those fragrances that aren't inoffensive. They smell professional, refined, and pretty well put together. And for the cheap category, I think Rochas L'Homme fits that perfectly. While there are some similarities to this and Dolce & Gabbana K, this is a much better fragrance overall in complexity and depth to the scent profile. There's much more fresh greens and green spice to this fragrance to go with the aromatics of that gin hit, that beautiful juniper berry smell with that light minty fresh floral tone of the geranium. Such a good fragrance. One of the best blue fragrances out there that actually smells of pretty good quality. Performance, again, is above average. And this is one that, like, for example, this tester bottle came in a brown tester box, has a tester label on the back, $30. Really hard to beat. $30 to $50 range is what you can expect to pay for this one, depending on where you find it. And it is that grab and go. It is great in a professional setting. It's great when you're out and about handling business. This one can dress up very well. Though it can double as your casual fragrance, I think this one definitely suits a more professional setting a bit better than like the cheap pick that we had for casual with Burberry Touch. You really can't go wrong here for any facet of your day with fragrances like Rochas L'Homme. My designer pick is a no-brainer for me personally because I think it's one of the best professional setting fragrances money can buy. We're talking about Bleu de Chanel Parfum. You can't go wrong here with this beautiful warm wood smell. It's not a loud projecting fragrance. It's not one that screams, look at me, somebody discover my scent and tell me I smell good. It's not that attention grabber, though when people do smell this one, I can't imagine anybody not liking it. It is so good. It still has a little bit of that citrus freshness of the EDT and the EDP. There's a lemon zest note. And zesty is a good way to describe it too. Lemon zest in the top, a lot of soft and warm woods. There's some Isoe Super here, there's Cashmeran, there's sandalwood, there's a lot of woodiness. It's a warm, dense, woody fragrance that really radiates off of the skin. It's smooth, it's polished, it's refined. This is great in a professional setting. I absolutely love this. This is one of the best designer suit and tie fragrances money can buy, and so on. Like I said, it suits a professional setting mainly because of the quality of this scent profile overall for even being a synthetic designer fragrance. It just smells like a upper echelon designer in many ways to me personally. It's got that tried and true DNA, just refined. Bleu de Chanel, most people love the way that smells, and this is the refined version of it. So for everyday and business, I think the designer pick that best suits this category is Bleu de Chanel Parfum. As far as niche, this is another one that was a no-brainer. There's a few fragrances from this house that could have went right here, but this is the one that I personally wear the most, so it made the most sense to feature Zaharoff Signature Tobacco right here, because this is the professional man's tobacco fragrance. It still has that elegance and class that most people have come to expect from Zaharoff's fragrances, and this is no slouch in that aspect. This is a leafy, aromatic, herbal type of tobacco, and it does have several different facets of what makes a great tobacco fragrance, kind of blended all together in one. There's booziness, there's smokiness, there's woods, there's spice, and so on. There's a little bit of freshness as well. Like I said, it's a very aromatic and herbal tobacco leaf smell. Performance isn't overbearing, but it is on the stronger side. It does have a strong aromatic, bright, airy quality, especially in the first hour or so. First 2 hours of this fragrance are pretty strong, so depending on how you spray it, depends on how easily people are going to smell you, because like I said, this is on the stronger side, while not a beast in any way. I don't claim it to be one anyways on my skin. It's definitely above average across the board in every performance category with sillage, projection, and longevity. You're getting your money's worth here from the quality, from the originality, and like I said, performance is no slouch. This stuff dresses up great. Very bossy type of scent profile. It smells assertive. It's a strong presence to this fragrance. So I felt like it was the perfect niche fragrance to put in this category for everyday and business niche. Zaharoff Signature Tobacco. Now, as far as evening wear, date night, this is one where I could have went a lot of different places with all three spots here with cheap, designer, and niche. But for cheap, it was easy to go tried and true with Azzaro Wanted by Night. So this is my big 5.1 ounce bottle, but 100 milliliter bottles of this you can get for around 40 bucks from discounters. It's pretty much a beastly fragrance in my experience. It's super long lasting. It is very loud, especially if you spray on the moderate to heavy side. Super inviting, very familiar, youthful but not too youthful. It does have a little bit of a serious edge with this smooth amber tobacco dry down. There's a lot of warm cinnamon spice here. There's a nice underlying sweetness. It's not too sweet, but it is one of the sweeter fragrances out there. Very alluring, intoxicating stuff. Not too, like I said, not too youthful, but not too serious at the same time. It kind of rides the line. I think all age groups can enjoy this one, from teenagers on into, 50-year-old men can absolutely enjoy this fragrance. Like I said, you're getting your money's worth here. 40 bucks, you're getting the performance, you're getting an alluring and attractive scent profile that actually does have a few subtle nuances and changes to the fragrance. It's not just cut and dry linear. What you get at the top is what you get through the dry down. This is actually a very well-rounded evening wear and date night fragrance. In the cheap category, it was hard not to pick this one, the Azzaro Wanted by Night. As far as my designer pick, this was kind of difficult, but I ended up landing on Boss the Scent Absolute. It is such a great fragrance that has some serious uniqueness to it because of that Manenka. The Manenka fruit here is so rich, thick, and robust. It has a boozy and warm, spicy type of appeal to it. The way that it's done here. There's only 3 notes. I don't remember all 3. I remember it's vetiver, Manenka, and I want to say amber is the other one, but I'm not sure. But what I get from it is a nice, rich, boozy, fruity hit of Manenka fruit. Starts to settle into a warm and spicy, woody tone that has a thickness to it. This is another one that has a pretty hefty presence to the scent profile without being too overbearing. This will reach out and grab somebody, but it won't punch them in the nose. The further away it gets from you, obviously the lighter the aroma, but within arm's reach, it's a pretty nice strength to the aroma. The sillage on this one, I wouldn't call the most overwhelming and powerful of sillages, but it's also not the close to the skin type of sillage as well. Great in an intimate setting, great for a first date, for example. And this actually has a bit of a business approach to it for, let's say, the business professional that's wearing something like a Bleu de Chanel during the day, but wants to make a stronger statement in the evenings. This would be a great fragrance for that. Not too many people talk about this one. It's fan-frickin-tastic. One of the best from the line. It's Boss the Scent Absolute. Now, as far as niche for dates and evenings, I wanted something definitely that I would consider very intoxicating, especially when we're getting into this price bracket. You want something that's just to die for in scent profile, and I think M. Micallef Desir Toxic falls into that. Here you have a nice herbal, smoky cannabis tone that doesn't smell too much like marijuana, with a nice bitter, tart, fruity blackcurrant smell. There's a little ambery. There's a touch of spice. There's still a little bit of freshness here, like a mouth-watering type of citrus smell at the top. Just beautiful overall. Lovely, lovely, lovely smell. Not a heavily spiced fragrance, but you can pick it up. It's more that earthy green spicy tone. I want to attribute that to the cannabis. I don't remember the full note breakdown, but that's the main things you can expect from this is the black currant, the cannabis, a little bit of a smoky tone, some woods, and a little bit of an ambery feel. This is one of those, like I said, to die for, intoxicating type of scent profiles, at least to me and my wife. This is top tier. It's been recommended by many people online, and for good reason. This stuff is all that in a bag of chips to me for sure. Performance is not overwhelming. It's actually a light sillage that gets out into the air that can captivate people within a decent range, but it's not a really strong fragrance. Staying power is there, but pushing power is not real heavy. That's why I think this is just so good in intimate settings. It's got the perfect type of reach to kind of pull her in close type of thing. And like I said, scent profile is just magnificent. For evenings, niche, we're talking about M. Micallef Desir Toxic. The last category is more of a show out. These are the more powerful fragrances. These are when you're looking for some attention. You want an assertive fragrance that's going to make a statement, that's going to that's strong enough for people to smell you within a decent range, that doesn't smell like everything else. Nothing challenging, nothing too out the norm, but a little bit of uniqueness and some real power. For the cheap fragrance, I decided to go with Bentley for Men, the original. You can get this in the sub $30 price point. It smells much more expensive than that. It's very spicy and boozy. Are there a lot of spicy, boozy fragrances out there? Sure, but the way this one is done, it has this nice, soft, buttery, leathery type of feel. It doesn't have all that heavy smoke and dense woods of the intense. It's much smoother. I feel like it's a little bit more versatile and a little bit easier to wear overall without sacrificing too much performance and too much of what makes the Bentley for Men DNA special in the first place. Uber masculine, just grab attention, very assertive and strong, makes a statement. This fragrance will make a powerful statement for a very cheap price. That's why it felt like the right choice in this particular spot. So that show out, that strong fragrance that's going to make a statement, the cheap one is going to be Bentley for Men. As far as designer, I thought about a lot of different fragrances in this position, but when I'm really factoring in power and assertiveness, one kind of stood taller than the rest, that being Dior Sauvage Elixir. So anybody that's tried this knows how ridiculously powerful this fragrance is. It's warm, very warm, dense, woody, and spicy. Very assertive fragrance. It definitely makes a powerful statement. It's on the pricey side of things. God, that smells good. It's hard to beat. This is a lot of people's current favorite fragrance. This is a lot of people's favorite Sauvage flanker because it doesn't smell a lot like Sauvage. It takes a lot of that youthful, playful shower gel side of Sauvage, almost completely removes it. You get a little hint of it in the backdrop to kind of tie the DNAs together, ever so slightly, but for the most part, this is warm, woody, and spicy. It is a little aromatic and creamy because you do have a nice dose of lavender and sandalwood, but overall, you're getting a ton of drier, woody spice from nutmeg, from cardamom, and so on. There's a lot going on here without being too complicated of a fragrance or smelling very busy, but it's potent. This is one of those fragrances that will punch you in the nose. This one, like I said, assertive is a great word for. So as far as designer fragrances that are going to grab attention, that are powerful, this was kind of a no-brainer. Dior Sauvage Elixir. The niche fragrance for this category is the most show out of all of these fragrances. That's why this was kind of an easy choice in this spot as well. Not everybody's a fan of rose. Okay, this is a very warm, dense, woody rose that has a little bit of fruitiness that never takes away from the serious side of this fragrance. It doesn't smell very playful. Another one that's very assertive, very masculine, and makes a strong, pronounced statement. We're talking about Adonis Awakens from Argos, one of the best releases of 2022 in my humble opinion. This stuff is extremely powerful. It does have several different nuances to the fragrance without getting away from the core, which is all about this Mysore sandalwood, this nice, warm, creamy type of wood with a rose absolute and a Bulgarian rose that give this strong, thick rose smell. You don't have a ton of freshness here. There's a little bit of citrus at the top. It's very unique. I've never smelled another fragrance that smells like Adonis Awakens. This is such a showstopper that could be worn every day at the same time. It has that appeal for kind of the ease of wear. It's not the easiest of wears, but it's not a challenging wear fragrance for being a rose and wood dominated fragrance. It's got this warmth and light spicy tone, more warm ambery than it is warm spicy. Like I said, there's a little bit of like a red berries tone in the top that adds a little bit of fruity sweetness, but not much. This is an overwhelming fragrance. That spray is kind of filling this area right now. This will grab attention. This will start a conversation. This is super unique, very powerful, serious show out. It was kind of the obvious choice when I really put my mind to what would be a great niche fragrance for this category. It was hard not to go with this. It's Adonis Awakens from Argos. Well, I tried to get through that as quickly as I could. We covered 4 categories, 3 fragrances each for a total of 12 fragrances. I hope this video was helpful for some of you. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What in this video have you tried? What would you put in some of these categories? Because there's a ton of different fragrances that could have fit in each one of these spots. These are the ones that I decided to go with that resonate with me the most for this particular category, and I feel like this is some great wardrobe options for the fall, no matter what your value and budget is for fragrances this season. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these 12 and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.